In this video, we're going to take a look at how to create a collection within Recycly from an inbound order for the receipt of assets from the customer, and how to generate documentation to go out on that collection, and how to generate barcode labels for the assets that you're going to collect, and then also how to receive those items into your warehouse. So to start with, just to mention that Recycly has got a fleet management application. This allows you to enter the details of any vehicles that you have, which can then be used as part of the setup of your collections. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a job that's currently waiting for asset items, which this one is. If I scroll down, so I can see there's some quantities of items that are expected here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead, I can see at the top here we've got a button for scheduling collection. And I can also at this point create ID labels. So there's two ways of working in Recycly. You can either generate your ID labels up front before you go out and do the collection, or you can generate them at the point that you receive those items. It's up to you which way around you do it. I'm going to go ahead and schedule a collection for this inbound order. So I can need just to confirm what items are that we're collecting. Confirm the site address and also the contact, and also which warehouse we're going to receive these items into. So I'm going to go ahead and select the Colchester warehouse. Continue. So this has now created a collection record within our inbound order with all the details and the details of the items. What I can now do is add some additional information, for example site details, to say whether or not ID is required to go on site, and if there's any lifts and other information. I can enter any other comments in here, for example cool. And then what we do as part of the Recycly onboarding is check if there's other information that you want to capture, because this area of the system is possible to customize. Also on this collection, I need to add the vehicles that are going to go out on that collection. So I can either select a courier. So these are just two that I've got set up within the system. You can add your own. Or I'm going to select one of my own drivers, which is what I'm going to do in this case. I'm going to send Greg, and I'm going to send Jim and Stephen. And then select the vehicle. So this is where your fleet management comes in. And within the system, there's a calendar view which shows you all of your scheduled collections and which vehicles going on them, which you can use to select an appropriate date for each collection. Perfect. Okay, so that's all the details now added to that collection. So at this point now, we're ready to generate some documentation, for example, for the driver to take out. So I'm going to show you just some examples here, show you the duty of care. Documentation within Recycly is fully customizable and using templates, data-driven templates, so you can create any documents that you want within the system. This is just an example that we provide. So you can see there the details of the assets, all the details of the job, the fact that ID is required, and it's even copied across my note there, and it's also got the details of the driver and the vehicle which were entered on the job. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can either print out ID labels before you go on the job, or you can print them out when the collection comes back to your warehouse. And just to show you what that looks like, if I click the print labels button, so you can pick how many to create, so you can print more than you need. And there's different formats of barcodes that we can print. We can either do code 39, which is linear ones, or QR codes is the other option at the moment. If I go ahead and create labels. So Recycly is designed as a full asset management tracking system. So what this is now doing is generating some unique item numbers and printing them out onto labels. So these labels can be printed directly to any label printer. You can see each of these is a unique item number, and in this case we've got the inbound order number as well, but it's up to you whether or not you want to have that on your labels. You don't have to do that. Cool. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just turning on my barcode scanner, So if I close this window, so now what I'm going to show you is how to actually now book those items into this collection. So I'm going to click on the book in items button. So this is our booking in screen. So we've got an area at the top where we can pick what sort of item it is we're going to scan. So we're going to scan some laptops to start with. And down the bottom here you can see all the expected assets and how many we scanned so far. So I'm going to go ahead and just scan a couple of laptops. There you go. And let's scan some desktop PCs now as well. Cool. Cool. So let's just scan a couple of these. There you go. Perfect. And when you're booking things in, you do have some additional extra fields you can scan as well. So for example, I can scan a customer's asset number. You can even at this point enter things like manufacturers and models if you want to, but if you're using an audit tool like Blanco, then normally you wouldn't want to manually enter those, but that is an option if you want to enter those at this point as well. Once I've finished scanning in and entering the details, I can click the confirm button. That then takes me back to my collection. If I look down here on the item summary tab, I can see here I've scanned 2 desktops and 2 laptops. Once you've finished processing all the items for a collection, the final stage is to mark this collection as processed, which effectively means you've finished booking in everything that you've received as part of this collection. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now it's asking me to confirm because the quantity I've scanned is different to the quantity that was expected. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that. Cool. And now what I can do, if I click this items and lots button, I can now see these are the 2 laptops and the 2 desktop PCs which have been received. They're now received and they're now in stock as well. So that's it for this video. If you'd like to know more about Recycly, there's plenty of information on our website, including FAQs, release history and pricing. Our website is recycle.ly. So thanks for watching.